Richard Gough won't like the manner in which his team lost a vital opening goal here.
Stevie Crawford! 1-0 Dundee United!
Not for the first time, Jim McIntyre got the better of Greg Strong in an aerial challenge. Dodds plays the perfect first time ball into the path of Stevie Crawford, and that is a wonderful finish. A big feature of the game was how poorly Livy defended long balls all day. Time and time again, no Livingston player was prepared to go and attack the ball, making possession much easier for United. It was quite extraordinary how often Jim McIntyre won this type of ball, and Livingston simply couldn't match his determination. Maybe at times they just weren't prepared to. Look at this defending from an Alan Archibald free kick inside his own half. McNamee is under it again, and Jim McIntyre can't believe his luck getting to the byline and getting a simple ball across goal.
In from Mark Wilson. Alan Archibald got his head to it! And James Grady makes it 2 for Dundee United.
Livingston's best effort in that opening half was this shot from Eric Delamo. Greg Strong finding Lilly here. Don't know why Archibald wants to play offside, but the striker's layoff is good, and Delamo really should do better from there. Even although Livingston don't have as much quality or flair as Dundee United, that's no excuse for their dreadful attitude to the game. A high work rate with plenty of effort and determination is the very least Richard Gough and the fans can expect. When Grant Brebner picks this ball up from Mark Kerr, he's got all the time in the world to play the pass into the feet of McIntyre, get it back, and he's unlucky to see that effort come back off the bar. In contrast, here's just one example of how much effort Dundee United were prepared to put into the game. Mark Wilson finds James Grady on the right, goes on the overlap, but when the move breaks down, look how determined he is to get back and defend. That's a player prepared to get up and support, and not worried about doing the defensive side to his game. Look at this free kick for Dundee United. I can remember doing this one with the school team. No Livingston players switched on at all, and again too easy for Brebner to get to the byline. Billy Dodds always makes it 3-0. Here's how easy possession was at times for United. The ball goes into McIntyre's feet. Greg Strong's not close enough to him. Dodds plays it wide to Crawford. Rubio doesn't even want to get close. And when McLaren eventually makes the run inside, McNamee's chucked it. He's let him go and pass responsibility on to somebody else. But in fairness to Dundee United, their passing was very good at times. And although Livingston might think they were close to their opponent, 3 or 4 yards away at this level is far too much. Remember, Livingston are 2 down at this point, and they should be desperate to regain possession. It just seemed to me as though Livingston played like a team who are going down and have already accepted it.
Douglas, I have to say, despite the fact they're bottom of the table, I was quite surprised to see the tabloid headlines this morning from Pierce Flynn suggesting Gough's tenure may be a shorter one.
Yeah, I think you're right to be, Jim. I mean, a chairman or an owner dissing a manager in the press is bad news. We saw it recently with Eddie Thompson and Ian McCall, and it just can't be good for either party. It doesn't reflect well on the chairman. It's not good news for the manager. It's something that the press are always going to speculate in whose job is up for grabs next. I mean, it was Ian McCall, now it's, you know, Livingston. But chairman really should, if they've got something to say to their manager, should keep it in-house. And there's a trend of this that really needs to be stamped out in the game.
Listening to you there, Andy, I don't think you saw much to encourage Richard Gough or the Livingston fans.
It was a shocking performance, Jim, honestly. It was a team that didn't want to tackle, didn't want to get close to their opponents, and that was a relegation dogfight. and you know, they're playing for their futures, playing for their livelihood. It just wasn't reflected in their play.
But now it seems the Dundee United players have had a wake-up call and seem to be playing for Ian McCall.
Yeah, I saw them down in the Scottish Cup at Palmerston, Jim, and they were very good down there. The first half hour they really went at it and it looked as though they were playing for their manager. And they let their foot off the gas a wee bit in the second half of that game, but again there they looked as though they were playing for Ian McCall, which, you know, there's been rumours that they wouldn't play for Ian McCall and things like that, but they look as though they are, which is a really good sign for him. He's still in the Scottish Cup, they're coming up the league. Livingston are looking a bit bereft down there at the bottom now.
Interesting. Let's take a point from the audience with Sarah.
As a Dundee United fan, Laura McGee, it'd be fair to say you're smiling a lot more now than you were a few weeks ago. I understand you've got a question for the guys in the executive box.
That's right, yes. I was just wondering, after Dundee United's success last weekend, do you think that Ian McCall will be staying on as manager?
And we'll be hearing a lot more from Laura later on as well.
Archie, is the pressure off McCall?
I think to a certain extent it is. Remember, Rangers were very good against them. There were defensive lapses in the game, and that score, I think, was skewed to a great extent. They had 15 minutes in the second half against Rangers, which were excellent to see. Good passing, which I think Andy referred to in that piece that he did. And also, I like McCall. McCall has done a good job at other clubs. He's raised clubs when they looked as if they would go under. He's very articulate. Maybe over-articulate at times when he's talking about authority, etc., and talking about the results of games. But I like to see a manager, an absolute disgrace the way he was treated by Eddie Thompson. And I think what's happened at Livingston is equally a disgrace, and these things should not be discussed in public.